welcome to Coming In Hot with Caroline. And guys, I wanted to say thank you for all the love and support always. If you can like, comment, follow, spread the word, we would be absolutely so grateful. So welcome. We are coming in very hot with a topic that has gone completely viral on TikTok. If you're not on TikTok, I don't know what you're doing, because you get on these deep, dark dives, okay? There is an entire scandal going on with a hair salon. It's a hair salon that is based in Arizona, and they have one here in the OC. It's called Hair by Chrissy Habit Salon. So this Hair by Chrissy is, I guess, 49, 50-year-old business owner. She's a busy mom, and she blew up on TikTok doing hair. So she does a lot of these young influencers' hair, the ones with like 4 or 5 million followers. And she got a huge following from it. She does extensions, which I think she ended up creating her own line of extensions. And then she does color, cut, and style. When she started, obviously, like everyone else, it was smaller. As she started to grow, as these influencers started to grow, obviously she became more and more well-known. People were dying to go see her. She started getting packed, and the salon was very busy and kind of turned into somewhat of a social media kind of place, because apparently there are people now coming out saying that when you go to the salon, there's cameras set up everywhere, there's lighting everywhere, that you're getting your makeup done, because it's very much for content creation. And which, listen, smart, if that's what she's building her business on, if that's where she's seen success. Obviously getting all these young girls in there is a marketing ploy, and it's genius. But the scandal that has occurred now is a regular girl who's adorable, probably trying to be an influencer or something, but she's adorable. She was dying to go to her. And the truth is, you guys, I've seen her work. Obviously, I'm always on TikTok. I've seen her extensions. I've seen her final looks. And honestly, the girls always look drop dead gorgeous, to the point that I even considered reaching out to her. I was curious where she was located. It actually makes you want the hair. The issue is, no one knows what goes on behind the scenes, right? You don't go to the salon. I didn't know the cost. I didn't look into it. And this young girl apparently saved up whatever she wanted to go, made an appointment. And to make an appointment with Chrissy, which is Hair by Chrissy, you have to DM her on Instagram. She's not on the site. And I guess you message back and forth, I'm assuming with an assistant, and you get your appointment with her. They kind of go over a little bit of the pricing, but they don't go over all the add-ons. They don't, you know what I mean? And you have to give a 50% deposit. So it's literally a $2,000 deposit, which is insane. And then she walked out of there spending almost $5,000. So this young girl came in, she said they looked at her and she brought her own hair in, and she just wanted some color. And apparently they convinced her to obviously get the hair. They said her hair wasn't good, which interesting. Then to shampoo her hair, they have to use their shampoo. So you have to buy the bottle. So that's another $50. Then when you're checking out, there's 50 products in there. So it's another $200 plus tipping, right? So this bill added up to the point $5,000, which honestly, I have never heard of that price here in LA. I was flabbergasted, obviously. I literally was wait, I have to watch this whole thing. Of course, went on a deep dive. This girl got 20.7 something like that million views on this, because Chrissy is a big hairstylist. It went so viral that everyone started coming out of the woodwork, because it always takes one very brave person to give a review, to speak up, to call someone out. It takes a lot of bravery, especially on social media, when somebody has a way bigger account, and usually bigger accounts will come after you, and you have to be really careful. So this girl really was just giving an honest review of her experience there, not being a famous influencer, being kind of a normal person going in to get your hair done, and what you should expect. And it was actually shocking, you guys. She was very upset, because she felt very bamboozled. She felt very pressured. She felt very uncomfortable there. Again, just tons of content creators, content going on. She said literally that the main person who she had an appointment with, which is Hair by Chrissy. So Chrissy apparently said hi, touched her hair for 2 seconds, and then at the end, asked her how she liked it. Did not do any of the foils, did not put the extension in, did not do any of that. And apparently, just to have Chrissy see you, it just says like the Hair by Chrissy treatment, that was almost $3,000. So just the treatment by her. So I don't know if it's just for her to look at you, to advise the assistants. My expectation with a $3,000 price tag would be that that person is from beginning to end hands on my head. I expect them to be doing the work because I'm paying for work. I expect them to be doing the work. You can have an assistant. I'm never saying that somebody can't have an assistant. And assistants are extremely helpful. It gets you to move faster and more efficiently. But how many assistants is too many assistants? And it gets to a point where you have one assistant. They usually do the blow dry. They hold a few foils. They're usually learning, right? Because they're there usually to be mentored and learn. And you have a little conversation with them and that's it. And you're tipping one person, which is already, the tipping things is already stresses me out. The tipping, I always want to tip people. I always want to tip people really well. But it's gotten to a point where, are you being tipped for your service? Because I was like, I don't get tips for giving advice to anyone. If it's a job that you have been hired to do and you're doing that job, you're being paid. Why are you getting tipped? And I understand in like more of a service industry where you're making minimum wage and you were splitting like waiters and things where you're splitting everything and like absolutely deserve a big tip, especially when it's really good service. I am happy to do that. But when it comes to the hair salons and the nail salons and the facials and the massages, I really started to not understand the tipping situation and not understanding why I'm spending like $100, $200, even $500 on hair. And then I have to spend another $100 to $200 tipping everyone for doing their job. I've never understood it. I think it's very uncomfortable. It puts you in an uncomfortable situation. Again, obviously you need to plan ahead, but sometimes when you're in the room or you're in the chair, you know, they do kind of convince you into things. Sometimes you're not happy, but you'll still tip or you'll still pay for it. You usually keep your mouth shut because again, when it's like a celebrity hairstylist and everyone is obsessed with them, like who are you to say you're not happy? So you usually keep your mouth shut. And it's happened to me. And I wanted to just bring it up because I know my hair is slicked back right now, but I'm somebody who loves hair color. I love extensions. I've been blonde, I think since high school, college. And I've gotten my hair done very fortunately by some of the best people in New York and some of the absolute best people in LA, like top, most famous people in LA. And they've done an incredible job. Like I'm saying, I've been so happy with my hair. Why you're loyal and why you keep going back and why you're willing to spend a little bit more. When somebody does your hair great and you love it, you are usually more likely to go back. You're willing to spend a little bit more, again, for great service and like a great job, and you're happy. Yes, it's worth it. But then it's like, when does it get to be too crazy? And for me, and I kind of experienced what this girl had experienced on a different level because I was actually an older woman. I had been going to the salon for years from like when they weren't popular and they weren't so famous and they didn't have celebrity clients. And as they grew, more and more chairs opened. And then as they grew and became more and more bigger celebrity, and everybody obviously wants to see their favorite celebrity's hairdresser, it became overwhelming. And it went from having one chair, one assistant to 10 chairs and like 15 assistants. And it is like packed. You definitely don't get personal attention. It is hard to have a conversation, or it definitely feels a little more rushed. It feels a little bit more chaotic. It feels a little bit more stressful. I think women used to go get their hair done because it's supposed to be relaxing. It was like a beautiful day of self-care, of chit-chatting, catching up, you know what I mean? Feeling fabulous. This started to feel like a machine. This started to feel like it's a well-oiled machine that just pumps products out, right? It's like getting that personalized attention, right? Going into a small boutique and someone's like really treating you well and helping you pick things out, or going to a huge shopping mall like a Bloomingdale's and walking around and you have a lot of different options. You have a lot of shit going on, right? So it's kind of like that. So for me, it turned into there's no personal care. There's no personal attention. I don't feel as respected for whatever reason. I felt like my time started to be disrespected. Like it became like 1 hour late. Like it went from 15 minutes late to 30 minutes late to an hour late to one time it was almost like 90 minutes to 2 hours late. And I kept hearing, so sorry, like there was an emergency. Of course, the emergency was J-Lo, and somehow J-Lo had to have a last minute emergency. And then A-Rod apparently needed a haircut, even though this hairdresser has 50 other clients waiting. Yes, you want to please everyone. And of course, as an owner of a business, you want to support and really take care of those big spenders. And I think that's where the celebrities come in. And a lot of them, their companies do pay, like whether it's the movie set, whether it's production, or it's a celebrity and she has the money, like they can pay, they can come and go. You have to be at their beck and call. And that's something that goes along with the job. With that said, you are going to hurt your other customers, because if you have to be at the beck and call of a celebrity, it makes it really hard to have a reliable schedule. So when the excuses started coming in and it was always over a celebrity, I would see people come in last minute and just ask for a quick favor and you'd be delayed. And it's one of those things where I really respect people's time. I do not like being late. I do not like people being late for me. I do not like waiting over 10 minutes for an appointment. The truth is, you're there, you're ready, and you should honor that. Of course, things happen. Yes, things are excusable, but I do think you have to be very careful of how much you're disrespecting your client's time. So for me, that was a big thing of constantly wasting like 8 hours, 10 hours at the hair salon. I was like, I have better things to do. 2, having too many assistants working on me that I felt like, are they all paying attention? Do they all knowing the exact timing? I had one time where like I still had some grays. Like they definitely didn't leave in the root stuff long enough. And they tried to convince me that it looked great when it didn't. Then as they get so busy, they no longer blow dry your hair where they used to. It used to be that I would have my hair colored and literally blowed out and like styled by the same and one and only person, the person I was paying. They would have one assistant that they have to pay, and I may tip if I want to, but that should be the way it goes. When you have 15 assistants, it's like, again, does everybody know? Is everybody on the same page? And you're doing so many different people. Like it's so chaotic. How do you pay attention? How do you know? And I think everyone is worth a certain price, obviously, with your art and your talent and your experience. But when you start getting passed off to assistants, do they have that same experience at that cost? Because again, I'm paying for you to be the main stylist who I am paying for to get your services and your expertise and your experience. Once you start shoving me off to the assistants who I'm not saying don't have talent, it's just, do they have the experience? And if they fuck up, whose problem is it? Right? So for me, it's just gotten out of hand. And unfortunately in this situation, and like I actually left the salon. I left the salon. I just didn't feel good anymore in there. I did not feel, again, it was this feeling of, it felt like people were kind of gossiping and talking. It felt like a clique. It kind of felt like the celebrities were definitely more important. It felt like your time wasn't respected. It didn't feel like the work was being done as well. And I was like, what am I doing? I have power. I have a choice. Why do I have to go where everyone else is going? There are amazing people out there. There are amazing, talented artists out there, hairdressers, hair colorists. There's not just one. Like, why am I putting all my eggs in one basket? So I did end up going to somebody else who I actually loved, killed it. I loved my hair. But again, the same situation started to happen where, and actually in this situation, her hands were always on your head, which I really respected. Nobody else did your hair. They did your hair. It was worth every penny. Their assistants were always amazing, and it was always a good experience. But after COVID and after everything, the schedule started getting harder. Time was taking longer. And then next thing I know, I was pushed off to the assistant. Let me tell you something. Obsessed with the assistant. Love her. She is no longer an assistant. She's on her own now. She's her own colorist and hairdresser, and she's fucking amazing. And I'm so lucky to have her. But I was never told I was going to be passed off. I was never told or called to say, thank you for always being here. Thank you for supporting me. There was nothing. It was just, I no longer had an appointment. And again, it's like, where is that respect level for the clientele? And I get business owners, we want to make money, we want to be successful, we want to have a great product or do a great job. But again, like, what's getting lost? And is this pumping out too much, too quick, too soon? So with this Hair by Chrissy situation, this girl went, She got bamboozled into the new hair, the products, the this, spent $5,000. You can see her before and after. Like, she does not look happy in the after. Like, she looks really uncomfortable. And she said she went home, she cried, and she went on and she did a TikTok and just gave an honest review. And I'm telling you, she was not rude about it. She was not a bitch about it. Like, she was actually very sweet, and like how anyone, like, no business wants a bad review. Listen, we get hate. We get told you suck or you're this or you're that. Nobody wants to hear that. And sometimes you have to take feedback as, how can this help you? And just do better. And again, reaching out to somebody one-on-one and making it right is always the right solution. But in this case, her video went viral. And unfortunately, Chrissy did not stick to professionalism and she crashed out. And she posted like 20 videos in a day talking about 4K hair and made merch saying my hair is 4K hair, which I don't know why anybody would be bragging about spending 4K on their hair. That's something you keep secret, honestly. I don't think I ever told anybody that my extensions were $1,500 for real hair, and I almost had a heart attack. Like, I thought I was insane paying that. So to hear 5,000, like, no, don't tell anybody. So for her making fun merch and like doubling down on the 4K and the fact that she didn't even do any of the work, that it was 10 assistants, and every single video that you watch of hers, unfortunately, if you go through her entire feed, it is everyone else doing the hair. She just does like that final reveal. And of course, if you're a celebrity and you're a big influencer, like, she's there with you a bit more to film, but it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. Listen, I've never been there. I do not know her. I have no idea what's going on over there, but it really felt very mean girl, very bullying, blasting this young girl just because she did not give you a perfect review. That's just not how it goes. And the internet went crazy. They all jumped to her defense. This young girl, everyone went after Chrissy. Everyone started telling all of their stories of having their hair fried, that she was sued at one point and she was called Hair by Crispy because she would burn all of your hair. Now employees are starting to come out. People who have taken her course have come out. Everyone's coming out of the woodwork. So this is why you want to keep it on the down low. This is why you want to go like one-on-one to handle it, because unfortunately, once it gets taken publicly, the gloves are off and everyone does research. We have lawyers weighing in. We have lawyers telling the young girl to sue her. So at this point now, Chrissy lost a bunch of followers, like, I'm sure a bunch of business. It did not make her look good. She has taken off all the comments. She removed all of the merch and all of the young girl making fun of her. And I think she's just trying to fucking lay low. And it's probably the smartest thing she can do, because unfortunately in this case scenario, you're not going to win this one, because you're a much older woman. You have young kids, young girls. You should know better. And you could have easily just reached out to her and said, hey, I am so sorry you had such a bad experience. Let me make this right, and do something nice for her. And it would have all been swept under the rug and been fine. And then maybe you could take a deeper look and ask yourself, why are you getting called these things? Why are you getting bad reviews on the Better Business Bureau, which is really serious? Why would you want all these people coming out of the woodwork? It doesn't make any sense to me. And I know she did not think it through. And I think she just got pissed, and we are all there where you just get fired up and somebody really presses a button. But why did it press a button? You have to understand, why do things really fire you up? And at the end of the day, it's what bugs you about it. Right? What really triggered her? And is it because it's all true? And, you're exposed and you feel crazy. I don't know, but that's what I'm feeling. Like me for massages. Yes, if it's a killer massage, I feel fucking amazing walking out of there. I'm going to tip you. I'm going to tip you well. But this expectation that everyone deserves to be paid the most money and a tip for any service is outrageous, and it has gotten crazy. We want to do whatever celebrities are doing, but do you really care? Do you really respect them? Do you really know what's going on behind closed doors? Do you really know who they are, that you really want to be copying them? I have really come to understand that there's just so many amazing, talented people out there that don't have the same opportunities, but it doesn't mean that they're not amazing. And just because it's the most expensive does not mean it's good. You guys, about my dupes. I've got a Chanel bag that ripped and broke, and I have the dupe that did not. So just because it's the most expensive and the most famous and the most coveted does not mean it's the best for you. I think it's us coming back to earth and understanding what's the scam now? Is that really valuable and is it really useful? And I ended up going to a fucking hair place here near where I live and got a full set of extensions that you can just clip in. Those are the ones that you've seen me with in the last 2 years. I can clip them in. I wear them for a day or two, sometimes 3 and 4. Don't judge me. Don't come for me because I love them that much. And then I clip them out when they get heavy, whatever. You wash them, you fix them, you brush them, and they were $100. Not $3,000. They were $100. And let me tell you something. I wear those all the time. Nobody fucking knows the difference. Once they're washed and styled and within your hair, nobody knows the difference. So this idea that we have to go to, no, you don't. And especially with so many young girls, especially with social media being so crazy and outrageous and making us jealous and envy things that really aren't real, because at the end of the day, what you are watching isn't always real. A lot of these young influencers going to Hair by Chrissy are getting free hair. They are not paying $4,000. They're exchanging content. So you're paying $4,000 to be like them, but they're not spending $4,000. You forget that a lot of this shit is free and you are trading content for the service. So this idea that young girls sitting at home think that you can buy 15 Chanel bags or that you can get every treatment done once a week is complete and utter bullshit. It isn't normal. And it's okay to save for that special thing. It's okay to get the look for less. It's okay to not go to the celebrity hairdresser and go to the normal person at the cute boutique. I just wanted to kind of have a gentle reminder, especially for all our young, wonderful girls out there who are constantly bombarded with pictures of perfection, pictures of everything is perfect, of how you're supposed to look, supposed to feel, what you're supposed to be doing. And I just want to bring some real back, some authenticity back. It doesn't have to be that way. Wait till it's right. And it doesn't have to be the most expensive and the most famous and the most this, okay? I want you saving your money. I want you being smart. I want you to have a voice. I want you to speak up. I want you to feel like you have power. In some of these situations, we feel powerless. And why? Why are we made to feel uncomfortable in a hair salon? Even a nail salon, right? When they're all talking, you think they're talking shit about you. It's like, what is this idea that we don't deserve to be treated with respect and feel comfortable and feel good for a service that we are paying our hard-earned money for? That's outrageous to me. So I just wanted to remind us all, once and for all, we have a voice, we have power, we have choices. Use them wisely. And always, you have a responsibility to yourself to be smart, to research, be prepared. Again, a lot of these appointments, a lot of these things, like anything, do your research, take accountability, know what you're going for, know what you're paying, ask up front. Do not be uncomfortable saying no, or I don't like it, or how can we fix this? We've quieted too many women's voices. And we've made us believe that we need to be small and we need to be quiet and we just need to take whatever we can get, even if we're getting scammed, even if we're getting taken advantage of. And I'm here to say no, absolutely not. Speak up, say no, it's a full sentence, and never ever feel uncomfortable to say that you don't like something that you have paid your hard-earned money on, okay? Yes, you're allowed. You're allowed to use your voice, okay? I love you all. We got this. And no more paying $5,000 for hair. Okay. And I want to say to all the salon owners and all the amazing hairdressers out there, I really respect you. I respect your craft. I really respect your art. It's still an experience, one that we want to enjoy, one that we're paying our hard-earned money for. And we want to feel respected. We want to feel seen and heard. And we want to be happy with the work that is done. So just a gentle reminder that it's our experience too, and it is our money we're spending, and we want to feel good doing it, right? The same way you want to feel good doing whatever you're doing, right? Anyway, I love you all. Tell me your crazy stories. What's the most expensive hair you've ever paid for? Tell me your crazy salon stories. I want to hear because it is always so crazy and chaotic in there. And I just wanted to say thank you for listening, and we'll be back next week with another hot topic.